I would like to welcome you to the 2021 St. Paul American School Hanoi graduation. It is my great honor and privilege to host this virtual graduation ceremony. Before I reflect on the accomplishments of the class of 2021, I would like to extend my gratitude to the staff that gave so much of themselves to ensure that students had a world-class educational experience and ensured that students were seen and heard. I would also like to thank the parents of the graduates for all of their support and for entrusting us with educating their children. I know that a virtual graduation ceremony is not the event we had anticipated, but it is my hope that this will be a special event that honors all the wonderful graduates and their accomplishments in high school. I hope that the resilience and creativity that 2020 and 2021 required you to develop will serve you well in your future, and that you will look back on your experience at St. Paul and feel like you were given the tools you needed to be successful in your next steps. While none of us like how your journey at St. Paul American School is ending, I'm very proud of what your journey has been thus far, and I hope you are too. I would like to highlight a few of the ways the class of 2021 exemplified our mission of being engaged, empowered, and educated students. This year, seniors in this class have led engagement at St. Paul. This was demonstrated by numerous accomplishments, such as hosting our first business competition, competing in the HAC, participating in multiple MUN conferences, leading English classes for Speak, displaying art in the Holiday Art Charity event, performing in 2 wonderful plays, as well as performing in the winter concert and winning awards in a virtual musical competition. Students in the Student Council have demonstrated that they are empowered by taking ownership of leading the student body by doing things such as hosting community meetings and setting up a house system that created opportunities for other students to engage in our school community. Seeing students take on these responsibilities has been such an honor. The impact of their leadership has positively influenced the culture of our school and will leave a legacy that will live on long after they are gone. The data demonstrates that students at St. Paul are some of the most educated students I've ever had the privilege of knowing. Collectively, this senior class has taken or will take 107 AP exams, demonstrating high levels of academic achievement and critical thinking skills. As of today, our students have had 83 college acceptances to excellent colleges all around the world. In closing, I would like to leave you with these words from Robert F. Kennedy. Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in total, all of these acts will be written in history of this generation. Each time a man or woman stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, they send forth a tiny ripple of hope. I want you to know that those ripples can join together to create meaningful, positive change. I want you to know that you are a big reason why I have hope for the future, and my wish for you is that you will continue to be the ripples of hope that do the hard work to bring forth ideas and systems that will make our world better. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Dear honored guests, I am Dr. Mu Eiselstein, and I am the Executive Director at St. Paul American School Hanoi. On behalf of the Board of Management, I would like to welcome you to the 2021 Senior Graduation Ceremony, and thank you for participating in this virtual celebration today. While I wish we could celebrate the amazing accomplishments of our graduates, families, and staff in person today, I am happy that this virtual ceremony can be saved and viewed by our graduates, families, and staff whenever you wish. Before we continue with the ceremony, I would like to offer some congratulations. First, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Tila Hidalgo and Mr. John North for successfully leading our secondary school this year. This was a challenging year, but you handled it with grace, professionalism, and integrity. I learned so much from you, and it was an honor to have served alongside you. Thank you and congratulations. Congratulations to the teachers and staff who worked tirelessly to make this year engaging, rigorous, and meaningful despite the obstacles of running a school during a global pandemic. I commend you for your constant professionalism and dedication to our graduates. Congratulations to the parents and families of our graduates. Moms and dads, I commend you for sacrificing so much to give your children the best education possible. Thank you for being a valued member of our school community and for making this one of the best school years in St. Paul American School Hanoi history. Like our graduates, you will always be an Eagle. Last but certainly not least, congratulations to our graduates. As you know, my experience up to this year has been with elementary students as a teacher and principal. At kindergarten graduations, we always talk about the beginning of the educational journey for the students moving on to first grade. It is an honor for me to be able to celebrate the other side of that journey, or the end, with all of you. Thank you for doing it as a St. Paul Eagle and for letting me be part of your senior year. I am so proud of you. Congratulations again to all of you, and go Eagles.
Greetings, honored guests, friends, families, teachers, and staff. It is my utmost honor for me to deliver the valedictorian speech today. Soon, all of us will depart to go our separate ways. Before we say our goodbyes, I would like to leave you with one message. On the first day at St. Paul, I was a small, ugly middle schooler. My English skill was very poor. I had hard times understanding classes and had difficulty communicating with teachers. Just like that, I took my first final exam at St. Paul and received a 60. I was shocked at the score. From then on, I was determined to get good grades, to the point where it was almost like an obsession. Getting something below a 94 was the biggest nightmare, and below 90, end of the world. Thanks to this obsession, I quickly adjusted to taking classes in English and managed to maintain my GPA at 4.0. When I became a freshman, I had the opportunity to take AP Chinese class. When I was a sophomore, I felt like I needed to do more than what I did in my freshman year. So I decided to take 2 AP classes that weren't even offered at our school. Now that getting a 4.0 GPA was a norm for me, I was becoming obsessed with APs. As a junior, I took 4 APs, and as a senior, 5. Doesn't sound so fun, right? Despite all these academic obsessions that I had, I still got to enjoy all the things a high schooler student can. No one, especially parents, who sees me for the first time thinks that I have a 4.0 GPA and academic ambitions. I admit my heavy makeup suggests otherwise. There is a famous saying in Korea, happiness does not come in grades. Well, I would say it depends. For me, I am happy to see my 4.0 GPA and long list of exams that I took. I am quite proud of my academic achievements. So for me, happiness does come in grades. But also, hanging out with my friends, watching Netflix and YouTube also makes me very happy. My happiness is a balance between studying and playing. And to do this, I study hard, play hard. Happiness doesn't necessarily have to be something grandiose. Let me share some of my small but certain happiness. When Python does not give me any error when Shift-Enter is pressed. The moment when St. Paul's Sound was called at the award ceremony in California. When Sam danced to WAP at Winter Dance. When I was mentioned in the Courier by Mr. Costello as the strongest Lady Macbeth. And hearing Fong order a small-sized t-shirt when all other girls order a large. These are some very minor events that made my day. Everyone has their own definition of happiness. Maybe your happiness is completely different from mine. As long as you are striving for what makes you happy, how you define it does not matter. Class of 2021, we have gone through so much and we are finally graduating. I'll miss hearing Chana's complaint that the cinnamon roll is too small, Devin's voice from the 4th floor all the way down to the reception, Sultan's amazing soprano voice, Soyoung blasting notes at people using her tuba, and Kwon and Choi's house life. Although we are going to be at so many different places around the world, like we all have successfully done, I hope we'll all live our life to the fullest. Remember, love the life you live the life you love. Thank you.
Teachers, families, guests, and the class of 2021, greetings. How's life? In case you don't recognize me from all the makeup I'm wearing, hi, my name is Sutton. We went to high school together. Class of 2021, congratulations. We've made it. We all did. And yes, though we did not expect to spend our last days looking at each other over the screen, it does not change the fact that we have finished all 4 years of high school and are now headed off to a new chapter of our lives. Time truly has flown over the last 4 years. It seems like it was just yesterday that we stepped into the cold room of A203, frantically memorizing the Caribbean islands. Going into Teacher David's class, confident knowing our so-cut toas, or attending physics, determined that today would really be the last day we finish our gold Rupert machines. But here we are now. The glorious days of us wearing school polos each morning, forgetting our graphing calculators at home, talking with our elbow partners, and checking the Asian lunch menu are all behind us. Class, I don't know about you, but it has been quite an intense ride. Just think of all the changes we've experienced and revelations we had over the last 4 years. Who knew we would all suddenly be so into TikTok? Who knew Kiet and Troy actually make an amazing rap duo? Who knew Sam would be so buff in just a year? Now, of course, there have been things that stayed consistent, like the constantly crowded cafeteria, Jisoo's grades, Mr. John's hairstyle, etc., etc. For the most part, however, there were a lot of changes, some definitely more challenging than others. Look at us. We're having an online graduation in the midst of a global pandemic. We have survived online AP testing at 3 a.m. and got actually good at them. We had to endure the pain of last-minute exam cancellations and policy changes. And the most challenging of all, we have bravely persisted through the treacherous battle with our school Wi-Fi. Rainy days were a nightmare. This in and of itself shows how resilient and amazing the class of 2021 is. Despite these changes, we were not set back one bit. Soon we will disperse all around the world, going to different places and accomplishing amazing things. We have people headed off to America, Canada, Korea, the UK, Australia, and many more. I can already see all of you thriving as we move on. Just look at every one of you right now. We see our future diplomats, Chena and Fong. Hi. Our Oscar-winning movie director, Devin. Harry and Choi will soon be the leading computer scientists of the century. Soyeon will be the most skilled vet Korea has ever seen. And Daniel will be a future doctor/scientist, engineer, researcher, and who knows what more he can do. Going through the hardest of times, we have all proved that we have great potential and that we will move on to achieve greater success. The world's most renowned professor, philosopher, and wizard Albus Dumbledore once said, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if only one remembers to turn on the light." Though difficult, class, try to enjoy the small moments, the moments that make you smile and laugh, for it is those moments that truly matter and will be remembered as we move on. Once we graduate, we might not remember what a fermata is, but we will remember that Miss B bakes the best cookies. We might not remember what the p-value has to be to reject the null hypothesis, but we will remember that Mr. Josh has the best sense of humor and will speak to you in fluent Korean if needed. We might not be able to tell the difference between up and down stage, but we will remember Mr. John's voice singing Phantom of the Opera, or him teasing Bing for not remembering his lines. We most definitely will forget the components of a Shakespearean sonnet, but we'll never forget the smiles Mr. Costello brought to us while he passionately demonstrated the scenes during Reader's Theater. Appreciate the small moments, class. Exactly a month from now, we will all be at different places, waiting to start the next chapter. There will be a lot of changes and a lot of uncertainty. Some of us will soon be headed off to different countries, stuck in 21-day quarantine, and have multiple experiences of cotton swabs stuck up your noses. Others will stay and might have to pay lots of money to listen to your professor speak inside our laptops at 2 a.m. in the morning. Wherever you are, whatever you do, no matter how daunting the changes might seem, always remember that there will be moments that will make your day. It has been a true honor knowing you all, class of 2021. From the bottom of my heart, I truly wish you the very best. Stay safe, make good choices, don't be sorry, be better. And as Mr. Josh always says, party, everyone. Thank you.
Principal Hidalgo, Vice Principal North, teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen, and the class of 2021. This is an occasion for celebration. We gather here at this moment to celebrate many things. Today, we celebrate graduation. We celebrate students, sons, daughters, athletes, musicians, scholars, artists, friends, and everything that each one of us represent. We are here to celebrate growth, and we are here to celebrate the accomplishments of the largest graduating class in St. Paul history. To begin, I would like to express my sincere gratitude towards my fellow graduates for having given me the opportunity to make this address on behalf of our graduating class at this momentous occasion. I must also give recognition to the mothers and fathers of our graduating class. Your support and dedication to the intellectual and physical development of your children have allowed us, myself included, to be in a position to celebrate with you today. In the words of the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant, my parents are my backbone. They're the only group that will support you whether you score 0 or 40. Finally, I would like to express my appreciation towards all our teachers and faculty members. They are the custodians of knowledge and our guides on the long and winding path of learning. The saying goes in Vietnamese, the school is a child's second home. In this fashion, I know I speak for all my classmates when I say, we could not have asked for better second parents. At the beginning of my address to you, I mentioned that this is an occasion for celebration. Now, some of you may have reason to disagree. Perhaps the past few months or years have not been the easiest to pass. Perhaps you have been recently robbed of opportunities, of income, of friends, and of living. Perhaps you think to yourself, this pandemic will be the single worst thing to ever happen to you and your family. To that I say, Yes, this pandemic has taken away much from all. Surely it will go down in history as one of the defining moments of our generation. But how we let it define us, well, that is a different story altogether. I'm a student of history, so allow me to explain it to you in the best way I know how to. Each and every generation has experienced an event of magnitude so large and which is so earth-shattering that they become so clearly generation-defining. For the lost generation of the early 20th century, it was the First World War. For most of the adults turning in to our graduation, it was the attacks of September 11. And for the so-called millennials, it was the Great Recessions of the late 2000s. In the wake of each of these events came unspeakable turmoil. World War I claimed around 20 million lives. 9/11 changed American foreign policy forever and has contributed in profound ways to the present geopolitical landscape. And the period between 2007 and 2009 saw a 5.1% decrease in global GDP, a massive and frightening downturn. The challenges presented to us by this pandemic, namely widespread fear, the curtailment of personal freedoms, as well as economic downturn, rival, if not surpass, these previous hardships. And yet, from the lost generation, we now know F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, and T.S. Eliot, a few of the greatest writers in the history of literature. The aftermath of September 11 revealed to us just how compassionate, resilient, and united people can become in the wake of a national and global tragedy. And after the treacherous dip at the end of the last decade, global GDP has rebounded by over $30 trillion. The point I am trying to make with these historical examples is that we as a society have always been able to overcome historic challenges that have been presented to us. It is our grit, perseverance, and resilience that will carry us through these difficult times. It is something I observe in each and every one of our graduates every single day, from the classroom to the field, and recently in our very homes as we continue to battle with this pandemic. If such great legacy and such potent growth have been the result of such tumultuous times before us, I see it as our generational responsibility to carry on that tradition. In writing this address, I came across an image that struck me as powerful. The Reverend Michael Judge, unconscious and being carried away from what was left of the World Trade Center by 5 New York Fire Department firefighters in the wake of 9/11. He was mortally wounded while praying for a man already deceased. Until his final moments of his life, the Reverend continued to do his job. May he rest in peace. The Reverend, to me, embodies the people before us who have dared to be great in the face of adversity. They have become great by persevering and by showing compassion and sacrifice. Different adversities present themselves over time, but every time the same spirit of resilience, of not giving in, and of continuing to fight has ensured that we come out stronger and better than before. To honor those before us and to cement our own legacy, we will stay resilient. We will keep doing whatever it takes to overcome adversity and allow it to shape us positively, not deter us from reaching our potential. We will draw from history our hope for a better future. And as I have said before, I already see this resilience in each and every one of our graduates. I ask, how can anyone look at us, a special group of young people graduating despite all odds, and have even a shadow of doubt as to the veracity of my claims? The pandemic is finite, losses are finite, and misfortune is inevitable, all of which serve to make the end reward more satisfying when finally attained. With that, I leave you with a quote from Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. If we believe that tomorrow will be better, we can bear the hardships of today. Our class has no doubt borne the hardships of high school. You all have gone through the hardships of life. We are passing through the fire and, like steel, will be forged stronger than ever. And above all, we will never stop believing. And for that, I declare to you, our tomorrow is now. Thank you.
Hello to all of you watching this speech today, and especially to my wonderful students and their most excellent families. I am deeply honored to have been selected to speak to you on the occasion of your high school graduation, an event which signifies the beginning of an important new chapter in your lives. So, how's life? This was the question I was asked by Kwan and Choi 5 days a week over a period of about 6 months. Every Monday through Friday, after third period ELA, these two fine students of philosophy came up to me, put a smartphone on my face, and asked, "So, how's life?" Well, why do you ask? Their answers were vague. And over time, I came to think of their question as a part of some mad, grandiose social experiment involving app development and the coding of complex algorithms. It was all far more than my simple mind could absorb, but it didn't matter. Only the question mattered. So, how's life? Day after day after day, month after month after month, each time my answers were dutifully recorded, another data point in Kwan and Choi's grand experiments. In the end, by my rough estimation, I answered that question over 120 times. So, how's life? It's a good question, and one I always enjoyed answering, even when it was a struggle to do so. Even when the camera seemed to be peering directly into my very soul and I wasn't sure what exactly might come out of my mouth. For, you see, to answer that seemingly simple question well and honestly, you must first be ready to answer questions of a deeper, more existential nature. Am I fulfilling my purpose? Am I working up to my potential? Am I leading a good and fulfilling life? Ultimately, to answer, so how's life, you must first answer these other three. Indeed, I do not think there are any questions more vital, and answering them, hopefully with some success, is the ongoing work of a lifetime. Now, as all of you can very well attest, I am a deeply flawed and far from perfect person. Yet, I have perhaps lived long enough and thoughtfully enough to advise you as you strike out to begin your adult lives. Unfortunately, I cannot answer these questions for you. What I can do, though, is to tell you a little about how I have sought to answer them for myself and what I have learned along the way. My best piece of advice is this: be not afraid to take risks. Now, let's be clear. I am not talking about reckless behavior like racing Vespa scooters in rush hour traffic, or challenging Sam Park to an arm wrestling competition. No, no, no. Let's be clear. There is a vast difference between self-destructive behavior and responsible, deliberate risk-taking. While the former is likely to end in disaster, the latter has the potential to quite literally transform your life in terms of both potential and perspective. But how do you know when to take a risk? And how do you judge if the risk is worth taking? Into everyone's life comes great uncertainty and insecurity. No one is immune to these feelings, and indeed, they are a natural part of living and maturing. In fact, I would argue that these feelings can be very useful and even helpful. But why do I say this? Well, though these feelings may seem negative, they can help us understand when change is necessary. After all, if we feel this way, it must be for a reason. Understanding the reason can motivate us to do something different, to find another way forward, to create another path through our lives. I would say that it is when we feel most uncertain and most insecure that we are most ready to take a risk that could potentially change our life circumstances. Let me give you an example, an anecdote from my own much younger days when I was, like you, at a crossroads in my life. Though hard now to believe, I was once 23 years old, graduating university, and with a head of dark and luxurious hair. Yes, it is true. Now, it's also true that I did not feel ready for the real world of adulthood. Though I loved school and studied hard, a clear career path eluded me. I didn't know what to do, or even what I wanted. It was a time of great uncertainty and insecurity for me. Should I go to graduate school? If so, to study what? Should I get a job? If so, doing what? In the end, I ended up doing nothing, becoming trapped in a sort of mental paralysis. If you'd asked me then, so how's life? I probably would have responded with a 4-letter word. Yet, though I did not realize it, I was perfectly ready for the risk that would ultimately change my life in ways that would have been impossible for 23-year-old me to possibly imagine. My turning point came one morning at the breakfast table when I saw a newspaper ad. Second grade teacher needed at small international school in Busan, Korea. Included was a contact number, which I decided to call. 2 days later, I had interviewed for and been offered the position. This, even though I did not even have a passport. 2 months later, and my plane was setting down at Busan's Gimhae Airport. I spent my first night in Korea on a couch in the school director's office. At first, my uncertainty and insecurity grew ever more oppressive, and I made a mistake. What on earth was I doing in a country I knew nothing about, on the other side of the world? Had I lost my mind? Well, as it turns out, no, I hadn't lost my mind. Within a few months, I knew I had done the right thing. I loved the work. I loved teaching these goofy little kids. And I loved everything about Korea too. In a strange and interesting way, I began to feel more at home in Busan than I had even in my hometown of Buffalo. 8 years after that first tumultuous night, I had a career I was passionate about in a fascinating country that I now and always will call home. And now, 22 years after that tumultuous night, I stand before you today at what is quite likely the pinnacle of my career, still reaping the rewards of that risk I took those decades ago. And I will tell you, I absolutely marvel to this day at what that single decision has meant for me and for my life. My wife, my 2 sons, and the blessing of being able to work with the finest young people I've ever encountered anywhere are right here in my hand. And why? Because in my moment of deepest uncertainty and insecurity, I took a fateful risk, and something which forever altered the trajectory of my life for the better happened. So, how's your life? If your answer is in doubt, if you are plagued by uncertainty, if you feel trapped or deeply unhappy, well, first, I recommend that you remember what Choi always says at a time like that. Prithee, peace. Calm down. And once you've taken Choi's sage advice, maybe you'll consider mine. Perhaps it's time to take a risk, for who knows what amazing things might come of it.
It is my honor and privilege to present to you the class of 2021 St. Paul American School Hanoi high school graduates.
Cho Lam Za Hong. Chu Zhu Yang. Sa-un Choi. Xiang-hyun Choi. Duk-Bing Dao. Đạo đức toàn mình. Quý quan hồng. Chế quan hoàng. Jong Jang. Song Ho Jang. Yewan Jan. Hoyan Jong. Hyun Jong Kil. Chaina Kim. Chornu Kim. Hyung Sun Kim. Kyuri Kim. Sungmin Kim. Taehyun Kim. Hana Lee Klein. Za Hui Lei. Kiet Lei. Lei Nan Ni. Jihan Lee. Jisoo Lee. Sihyun Min. Junsa Moon. Jihyun Nam. Chi Zong Nguyen. Duinam Nguyen. Ho Tui Anh Nguyen. Huang Bak Nguyen. Huang Li Nguyen. Kain Ling Nguyen. Nguyen Qua Nguyen. Nam Ein Nguyen. Nok Kain Linh Nguyen. Kain Ha Nguyen. Quân Nhong Park. Seo Park. Quân Nhong Park. Linh Chi Fang. Minh Phong Phang. Pham Tian Minh Chi. Seo Shin. Zhao Hong Tan. Bao Khoi Chan. Thanh Tong Trong. Nam Ein Vu. Young Sa Won. Yeomyong Park.
graduates, when I had them the first year in 8th grade 5 years ago, if you told me that they were going to be our leaders, I would not have agreed with you. I would have stomped my foot and started crying because they were not leaders at that point in time. They're able to make the mistakes with that cushion when they have strong guidance that basically lets them go ahead and try it their way, go ahead and fail, and then teach them how to pick themselves back up and try it again from a different perspective. That's really what we've been doing for the past 5 years. And I really could not be more proud of the strong leadership that we have built. And I think it's going to serve them extremely well, not only in their college career, but in their careers after. And I honestly cannot wait to see what they do from here. I am so excited.
Well, this class was a lot of fun. This class, the majority of the students were, they were really smart and hardworking, but there were a lot of students that had an incredible sense of humor. And then the majority of the students that I worked with were also really disciplined. So I think that's what I'm going to remember the most about that, was just how fun and how smart they were and how inclusive they were to all of their peers.
I would say this is a class that's certainly very full of characters of all kinds and descriptions, to be sure. You know, it's been a real pleasure to get to know so many interesting people, and you guys have a lot of really strong personalities. And I think the thing that really stands out about this class is the level of passion that people have.
To be honest with you, you guys were always so mature from even the beginning. Like, you know, even in 9th grade, like, I felt like I could always talk to you guys as like an adult. You already were way more mature than like the average 15-year-old. So good people, always funny. Like, you just know more science than you did before.
So I do go a long way back with this graduating class. I taught them in 8th grade. I still fondly remember their 8th grade graduation. I actually just watched it the other day. Well, I mean, certainly everyone's taller. I'm a little wider. But the real answer to that question is I've seen you guys grow in your character, responsible and mature young men and women, dependable young men and women, even more talented and gifted young men and women. I'm not embellishing when I say that this is a pretty awesome senior class. And I'm proud that I had a hand in beginning you on that journey into high school when I was teaching you in 8th grade. So it's really cool to see it come full circle.
Hey, 2021 St. Paul graduates, Mr. Blackburn here. Just wanted to tell you congratulations. I hope that you had an amazing most of your year. I know that the last month has been pretty tough, not being able to be together and especially not having a live graduation. However, you will hold on to so many amazing memories from your time at St. Paul with each other and with your amazing teachers. So keep those memories, share those memories, stay in touch with each other, and I hope to hear from you down the trail.
My advice to the senior would be literally develop whatever your passions are, identify it, and follow it.
Look at the good and focus on the good. There are often going to be circumstances far outside of our control that we can literally do nothing about. So the challenge is to focus instead on what is good.
Don't let fear of the unknown or the doubt. I really think the potential is so high. So, yeah.
Stay strong, class of 2021. I love all of you, and you're going to be great, and life will improve.
Always pay attention. These are all elements that I have required of you guys all along. It's okay to ask for help and guidance from others, but you're the one with the education and the knowledge of what's best for you.
Once upon a younger year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out to play. Went face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him say, when you get older, your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind.
My dream?
So live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child. These are the nights that never die. My father told me. Light a fire they can't put out. Carve your name into those shining stars. He said go venture far beyond the shores. Don't forsake this life of yours. I'll guide you home no matter where you are. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. When I was just a kid, I heard him say, when you get older, your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child. These are the nights that never die. My father told me. These are the nights that never die. My father told me.
I saw the light fade from the sky. On the wind I heard a sigh. As the snowflakes cover my fallen brothers, I will say this last goodbye. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away. Over hill and under tree, through lands where never light is shone, by silver streams that run down
meeting new people, teachers, and making friends.
Oh, I still remember the day when we went to Dabia for our school trip.
So telling when I spent with my friends after lunch in Mr. Sean's classroom.
Teaching Mr. Joshua how to speak Korean. When I visited California for a music competition.
Spring break.
In 5th period, like every 5th period with Mr. Costello in ELA class.
Honestly, I liked the California trip the most.
Attending all of the sports games, which I can never have when I go to university.
Our data science class with Mr. Joshua.
Our last trip to Dabia.
I like all my teachers very dearly.
Mr. John or Mr. Jones.
Mr. Costello.
Miss B.
Mr. Joshua.
Mr. John.
Miss B.
Mr. Costello. And Miss Shannon.
Took that road with me. Night is now.
Really going to miss the campus.
Our lunch.
I will definitely miss my teachers the most.
Our school lunch. campus.
Our friends and teachers and the supportive community in St. Paul in general.
I'll miss my friends and my teammates, sports teammates.
Thank you for being my parents and having me as a daughter. I want to thank to my dad. He always gave me an advice. And to my mom, I know that she always work hard, but I didn't have a chance to appreciate that. So thank you, Mom.
저를 응원해주시고 서포트해주셔서 감사하다는 말씀 한 번 더 드리고 싶고, 제가 표현을 자주 하지는 않지만 제 마음을 아실 거라고 믿어요. 사랑합니다.
Thank you for not letting me drop out because it feels really good to be officially done with school.
Our parents have always been there for me, make sure that I get the best experience out of everything, and the very fact that I have been loved by them so much already makes me a better person. So I really thank my parents for that. 엄마 아빠 사랑해요.
엄마 아빠, 내가 고등학교 생활 4년 내내 엄마 아빠한테 뭔가 자랑스러웠던 딸이었었으면 좋겠고, 앞으로는 웃을 일만 더 많아지게 아주 열심히 달려볼게. 사랑해.
엄마 아빠 못난 아들 18년간 잘 키워주시고 힘드신데 포기하지 않으시고 외국까지도 이렇게 데려나와서 이렇게 열심히 잘 키워주셔서 감사해요. 무엇보다 사랑한다는 말을 제가 많이 못해드려서 죄송해요. 정말 많이 사랑해요.
Happy graduations, and I hope that you guys have a fun time after high school.
I'm kind of sad and happy at the same time that I'm graduating, but I hope you guys remember me as a nice guy.
Class of 2021 was great. I hope that everyone gonna stay safe, have a bright future ahead, and don't forget our fun memories at St. Paul.
I hope everyone achieve their full potential wherever they may be.
Follow my Instagram, please. I wish we can get in touch for a long time even after graduation.
My fellow graduates, keep in touch, because these past years, or even singular year that I've been able to spend with you guys have been amazing, and these are connections that I want to keep for the rest of my life.
Good luck to you guys in college, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you for all of the laughs and memories that you guys made. I truly hope the best of luck.
I bid you all a very fond farewell.